What's good, y'all? It is Magical You Monday.
And today we're going to talk about what is the difference between pain and suffering.
Welcome to the Renegade Relationship Realists with Rev-N-Rachael Pierre McAllister and Rachel Dilling. Please be advised, this channel is rated R for realism.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rev-N-Rachael. And today we're talking about the difference between pain and suffering. And so many times we don't actually think that there's a difference. There's a huge, huge difference. Pain is inevitable because we live in these bodies, we're on the planet Earth, and life unfolds in ways that we have pain, be it physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, pain. The difference is we don't have to suffer. Now, I know there's some beliefs out there that, we have to suffer. But the suffering is actually the resistance to the pain and how long you hold on to it. So I know people who, I still remember, I'm thinking about a particular person who has now passed on. But her spouse passed on years before her. And she could literally cry at a drop of a hat by mentioning his name. And I thought to myself, what's the difference between her and someone who, years later, they've gone on, built a life and all of that. They both love their husbands tremendously.
Right.
And what I realized was when you talk about for her husband, her mind, that between the ears, would go back into the past, and therefore she was still suffering.
Right.
You got an incident for me?
Well, not necessarily an incident, but the idea of suffering. And like you said, there's beliefs out there that life is suffering. And I am really of the opinion that suffering happens because we resist what exists.
Absolutely.
And so when something happens, I've experienced major deaths in my life. My mom died when I was 31 years old, and that was painful. It was painful, and I had to go through that pain. And today I'm okay because it happened, 15, 16 years ago.
Right.
But the suffering comes from when we resist to that. So I could have spent the rest of my time going, no, I resist the fact that my mom's dead. I don't like the fact, not that I like the fact that she's dead, because I don't, but I'm no longer in fighting against the idea, because when you fight against what is, it creates the suffering. Now, studies show that it takes us 90 seconds for a feeling to go through the body. So what does that mean? I get triggered, and I'm sad, or I'm angry, and 90 seconds for it to go through and have the physical reaction to that feeling. It's only when we mentally continue to live that moment that we continue the emotion in our body.
Absolutely.
And we can do that for years, decades.
For a long time. I
Yeah.
remember one time getting a phone call, and someone told me that one of my friends had died. And as I was running, because I used to run for my exercise, and as I was running, all of a sudden it came to me, now, what's the difference between how I felt before the phone call and how I felt after? Well, I had information. But now I'm running, doing something new, and I thought, so how long am I going to stay in the, oh my God, why is this happening? I don't want this to be happening.
The resistance.
Versus it is, love this person, going to miss this person, and move on. And it was just like a split second of, it was information that was given to me.
Yeah.
90 seconds went through. How long after I suffered was totally by choice.
Absolutely. That also takes us to the idea of spiritual bypass, though.
Ah, true.
However, is that a totally different topic?
That's another subject, and
That's
we have
another
to get to
subject.
that one.
That's true, we will. So the challenge is to know that the pain happens. Great, we all experience it. It's normal, it's natural, it's part of being human. The suffering is something we don't have to do if we're willing to let it go and to not resist what is. Now, it's an easy thing to say, but it's not an easy thing to do. It's taken, and I still find myself sometimes in that resistance, but at least now I have the information that I can shift it if I put my mind to it.
So the challenge is when you go through something painful, catch it. But really start to become aware of, observe how long you're going to suffer. And don't put the suffering on the incident itself.
Oh,
Okay?
yes.
Suffering doesn't go on the incident.
No.
It goes on what's going on within you.
And the meaning we put on that.
And the
incident.
meaning we put on that.
Yeah.
So we're not saying you're not going to suffer. We're saying how long you suffer is up to you. And so, and let me do one more caveat. I'm not saying if you break your leg or, you know, you've got this terminal illness that is extremely painful in the body and all that, that you're not going to suffer. That's not what we're talking about here.
Well, that's what we're saying is that pain happens. If I break my leg, it's going to hurt. And the healing process hurts.
Yes.
It's painful. But that doesn't mean that I have to wallow in the suffering of the pain.
Right.
So we don't have to suffer. We can release the attachment to the pain emotionally or intellectually and still allow the pain to happen and grow through it. So what's the challenge?
The challenge is to distinguish between pain and suffering. When you're going through something,
Yes.
I want you to notice, okay, this is painful, and then I want you to notice what's going on in between your ears and in the brain so that you can decide how long you're going to suffer. Okay? No need. Emotional, mental suffering, not necessary.
Suffering is a choice.
Pain is not.
Exactly. That's true. That's
Okay,
true.
that was kind of rough.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So if you liked what you heard today, subscribe. We also have the little bell that'll give you the updates when the new videos come out.
Go ahead and like us. Make sure you leave us a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts about this, whether you agree with us or not. We want to hear from you. And share this. Please share this with your friends.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.